What's up YouTube? Welcome to part 2 of my video series on creating a MERN CRUD app. In the first part we took care of our Express server. We did create, we did read, we did update, and we did delete. And in this video we're going to create our React front end for that backend server. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Alright, so in the last video we set up the backend portion of our app. So we created an Express server which communicates with the MongoDB database. So we've been sending in requests from Postman. We've been like, hey, Mr. Express, create a note. Here's a title and a body. And then Express goes, oh, cool. Hey, Mr. MongoDB, can you create this note? And then MongoDB creates it and sends it back to Express. And Express goes, oh, sweet, we got it. Here you go, Mr. Postman. And basically that's been what we've been doing so far. So now we're going to create a React app, which is going to communicate with the Express app. So we're going to send in ajax requests from React, and then it'll send to our Express server and go, hey, database, blah, blah, blah. They'll send it back, and Express will send it back to React, where we can then render it on the page or do whatever we got to do. And what's cool is JSON is pretty much universal. So right now we're doing React, but maybe in the future we do an iOS app, and that iOS app can communicate with the same server. And then maybe later we do a desktop app, which communicates with the same server. So Express is kind of like the central point that everything connects to. And I think that's pretty cool. So let's get right into it. So let's open up our terminal app, and we're just going to cd to that server folder we made in the last video. So cd space, drag it in, it'll put the path, and then hit enter. And we're in that folder now, so let's run our server with npm run dev. And this should start our Express server, so it's running now. And yeah, let's get started with React. So to get started, we're going to use the Create React App tool. This is a tool made by the React team, and it just generates a whole React app for you, so you don't have to worry about Webpack and building and all that stuff. So here's the command right here. Let's go back to terminal. I'm going to open up a new tab. In Mac, it's Command T. And then we're in the server folder still. I'm going to go cd. Let's drag that folder in, and I'm going to delete the /server part, hit enter, and we're on the desktop now, so let's run the React command. So npx create React app, and then you just give it a name. I'm going to call mine front end. So it's going to generate that app for us, and it'll just take a second. And if it's your first time running this command, it might say, hey, you got to install React scripts. You can just hit yes to that, and it'll continue. Alright, there we go, it finished. So let's cd into that folder, so cd front end. And then let's open it with code dot. So we got our folder open right here. Let me make it bigger. And then let's go back to terminal and let's run it with npm start. So npm start. So while this is starting, let's take a look at the folder. So we got our node modules that contains all our packages. We got a public folder. This contains our index.html, and it contains images and a manifest and a robots file. We got our source folder. This contains all the React stuff, and then we got gitignore, package.json, and a readme. So we got a message here. It says, hey, you're already using port 3000, which we are right here. Do you want to run it on another port instead? Let's hit yes. And that should continue starting up. It's just going to take a second. There we go. Okay, here's the welcome screen from Create React App. So let's start coding. Let's open up our folder here, or our project here. And let's just let's just delete everything except for app.js and index.js. So I'll select all those, delete. And then let's go in these files and delete the stuff we deleted. So we'll go in index. So we no longer have this file or this file. Now let's delete this web vital stuff at the bottom. And let's take it out of strict mode by removing this these two lines. Hit save. Let's go to app.js. And we no longer have these two files, so delete it. And then let's just delete everything in this div and just put some random text. Let's go back to Chrome and it updates. So now we got our text here and we got no extra files. So let's get started. So the first thing we got to do is just fetch all the notes and render them on the screen. So in React, you have to store everything in state. So let's create some state to store our notes. So it's const brackets, and then we'll call our state notes. And then the second part is the function. We gotta name the function that sets the state for notes. So set notes is equal to, and then we're gonna use state. And I'm gonna click right here so it imports it. And then we do some parentheses and we put whatever we want the default state to be for notes. So let's just put null, hit save, and then let's create a function that fetches our notes. So let's go const fetch notes is equal to, and then in here we gotta fetch the notes and then set it on state. So to do all our Ajax stuff, we're gonna use a library called Axios Js. So here it is right here. It just lets you send HTTP requests. And it's probably the most popular package, and it's really easy to use. So it just gives you like a clean syntax like this. So let's add this to our project. I'm just gonna open up a new tab. And then I'm still in my front end folder, but if you're not, you can navigate there again. I'm gonna run npm install -- save Axios. Just gonna grab that package, we got it, and now we can use it. So let's close this tab. I'm gonna go back to my code and let's import it up here. So import Axios from Axios. And yeah, now we can use it right here. So it's just Axios, and then the method we wanna do, so ours is get. And then our URL was HTTP localhost 3000/notes. Save that, and this should be grabbing all the notes, and it's a promise, so we can use async and await here. So let's make this an async function, and then let's go const response is equal to await axios.get, and then let's just console.log that res, and then yeah, this function's not running yet. So we want this function to run as soon as our app starts up. So we can do that in a use effect, which is a React hook. So let's import use effect. And then we'll do it, let's do it right here. So use effect, it takes a function. And then the second argument is an array where you put in dependencies, but we just want this to run once when the app starts up. So we're just gonna leave it empty. And then yeah, anything we put in here is gonna run when it starts. So let's run our function right here. So I'll just type it right here, fetch notes. And then let's check out our app. Go back to it, refresh. I'm gonna go to inspect, network, refresh again. And we can see it's grabbing the notes right here. And we don't have any notes currently, but we are getting them. So let's take this notes key array and set it to state. So we can do that right down here. So it's just set notes. And then what do we want to set notes to? We want to set it to res.data.notes. So if we go back and check out the object, you can see it's well, actually you can't see right there because I didn't console.log res to see what we get back. Go back here, let's go to console. So you get this whole object here, you get some config and stuff, but the important stuff is in data, and then we get whatever we send right there. So we're setting the notes on state, and we don't have any yet. So let's just open up Postman and create one. So let's go open up Postman again, and the app takes forever, so let's just give it a second. Okay, here we go, and we got our create note test thing right here. Let's run it, and it created a note for us. So that's all we had to do. Let's go back here, open up our network tab again, refresh, and now we're getting that note back. So we're getting the notes right here, we're setting it on state, and now we can render them to the screen. So let's go inside our return right here. Let's just create a new div. We'll give it a heading that says notes. And then let's render out that array of notes right here. So it starts as null, so we gotta check if notes exist before we render. So let's go notes and then we wanna do notes.map. First argument is the note. Let's open that up, and then we wanna return a div
And inside that div, let's put a heading, h3, that renders note.title. Save that. Let's go back here, and it's rendering our note now. And then whenever you map or loop through an array and render it, you have to give each item a key, and it has to be a unique value. So we can use the note.id since that's unique for each note. So it's note._id. Hit save. We're still good. All right. So now let's add a form to create a note. So I'm gonna minimize that. Let's do a new section with a heading. I'll just call it create note. And then let's put a form inside here. And our note has a title and a body, so let's add some inputs. So the input name is equal to title. And then I'll do a text area. Name is equal to body. And then we need a button to submit it. So button type submit. I'll just put create note inside there. So let's go back here. We got our form, and now we're gonna hook it up. So in React, like, you really don't just let people freely type in here. We're basically gonna create some state to hold the values of these, and then a function to update state to update those values. So let's do the first part. We'll go up here and let's just do const. We'll call our state create form. And then the function to update it is set create form is equal to use state. And then the default state for this, we'll do an object that has a key title, empty string, and body, which is an empty string. And now we want to attach this state to our form down here. So let's go down here and let's go value is equal to, what I call it, create form dot title. And value is equal to create form dot body. So now these inputs are always going to be equal to the state up here. So we can't type in it anymore because we don't have anything to update it. So we're going to handle that next. So let's just put some comments up here. We'll call this state, use effect, and I guess just functions. All right, so we're fetching them right here. Let's do one to update the create form. So we'll go const update create form field, and that'll be equal to a function. Just go console.log, hey. And now let's connect this function to our inputs down here. So we can go on change is equal to, what I call it, update create form field. We'll do the same thing on the text area. So I'll just copy and paste it. And then let's go back here, I'll refresh, which it should have updated automatically. I don't know why I did that. And now when I type, it's running our function. So I get the hey message here. So what do we gotta do in there? Well, we gotta get the, we wanna get the name of the field we're editing, and we wanna get the new value. So we can get both of those off the default HTML event that gets passed in here. So let's put an E for event. And then it's just, we want to get a name and value, and you get it off e.target. So this should grab us the name and the value. Let's just console.log those to make sure. Cool, we're getting it right here. And now let's update the state. So we're gonna change our create form state right here. So let's go set create form. And then you can't update just a single property. You have to send in a whole new object every time. So the standard way to do that is you, I forget what they call it, but you basically create a duplicate with this ... syntax. So this line right here creates a duplicate of our object right here. And then on the next line, we can update stuff. So we want to update name to value. So if we go like this, oops, it's going to update the key of name, but we don't want the key of name. We want it to be whatever the name variable is equal to. And it's kind of a weird syntax, but to do that, you wrap it in brackets like this. So that should make it work. Let's delete our log and try it out. Go back here, and now I can type in here. And we can access these two values at any time through create form now. So next step would be to actually create the note. So let's create a new function. We'll call it create note. And then we're gonna hook this function up to our form here. So we can go to form, we'll go on submit, and then we paste in our function that we wanna run on submit. So create note. And then let's just do a console.log. Submit. Let's go back here, and now when we hit submit, it's refreshing the page because that's how HTML forms work. So to prevent that from happening, this function is going to receive the HTML event also, and you can stop that from happening with e.prevent default. And it's a function like that. So now we could submit and it won't refresh the page, and we can run whatever we want. So in our case, we want to create the note and then update state. So let's create the note. So it's gonna be const res is equal to await Axios dot, this time it's post. And the URL is http localhost 3000 and /notes. And then we're using await. That's why we got the error, because we didn't change it to an async function. So let's go back up here and make this async. And then, so we're hitting it, but we're not sending our data with it. So we have to add a second argument. So with the post request, we want to send this whole entire object. So we can just do create form there. So let's go back here. I can delete those brackets and just do create form. And let me make my window a little bigger. Alright, so this should be creating a note. So let's just console.log the response that we get and see what happens. So I go back here, I do that, I hit create note, and we're getting a 200 back, and it's creating the note and sending it back. So now we have to take this note that we're getting back and add it to our notes array state, so it'll automatically update up here. So yeah, let's do that. So it's just set notes. And then we have to give it a whole new array. We can't just add one. So let's do a duplicate of notes right here. And notes is an array, so we can do the same syntax, but in brackets. So .notes, comma, and then we can add whatever we want. So we want res.data.note. And that should add it. So let's try that out. Now when we create a note, it automatically adds it up here. So that's cool, we can create notes. But when we create one, we probably want to clear these. So we can fix that real quick. So let's just add a new section right here called clear state on the form. So clear form state. And then what was it? Set create form. And then let's make title an empty string again and body an empty string again. And that should fix it. Let's go back here. So now we hit create and it clears those fields. All right, so next up we'll handle deleting. So let's go inside our notes array thing right here, and let's just add a button. And we'll put delete note. And then we're gonna attach this button to a function that we're about to create. So let's go back up here. Let's create a new function called delete note. And then let's attach it to our button. So where was it? So button on click is equal to delete note. So now it should be running our function there. So in here we want to delete the note and then update state. All right, so the first part is a delete request. So axios.delete, and then our URL was http localhost 3000 /notes, and then we got to put the ID here. So how do we get the ID? Well, we have no way to get it, so let's pass it in as an argument. So underscore ID, and then let's go down here, and we could go like this, but this is just going to run instantly when we load the page. So it's kind of weird, but we have to do a function that runs our function like this, and now it won't run until we click it. So someone's going to click it, it's going to run our function and pass note.id to it. So this should be equal to the ID of the note we're deleting. So then we can put it right here. So we can go plus underscore ID. That's kind of the old way to do it. The new syntax, you can use backticks here. And then you do a $ in brackets, and now we can use a variable within our string. So let's go like that. And then we can delete this part right here. And then we don't have to send any data with this or anything. So this looks good. So let's make it await. And then we gotta make this async. And let's just assign this to res. Let's just console.log it to see what's happening. Go back here. So we got our delete buttons, and if I click one, we get our response and we get 200 with our success message. So it's working, and now we just got to update the state. All right, so do that down here. So we have to basically filter out the one we deleted. So let's create a new variable called new notes, and then let's make a duplicate of our current notes. So ... notes, and then we're gonna filter this array. So we do .filter. It gets notes. We open it up, and then we want to return notes where note._id is not equal to the ID we passed in. So this is going to return an array of all notes that don't meet this condition, or that do meet this condition. So that should be everything except for the note with this ID that we passed in. So we got our new notes, and now we just got to set notes, new notes. So that should do it. Let's go back and try it out. And now I delete, and it actually deletes it. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we did fetching, we did creating, and now, we did deleting too, and now we got to update. So update's probably going to be the most annoying to do, but let's do it. So let's minimize this for now, minimize this. Let's create a new section. I'll actually do it up here. I'll go h2 update note, and we're going to need another form to do that. So form, and then the same inputs. So input name is equal to title. Text area name is equal to body. And then we need a submit button. So button type submit. And then we'll put update note in there. So let's just go back here and check it out. We got our form right here. So let's just kind of think about how this is going to work. So we're going to add an edit button right here. And when someone clicks edit, we want it to basically populate this form with the current value. And then the user will be able to update it, hit update, and it'll update up here and save it in our database. So I guess the first thing we gotta do is create some state to store the value of these fields right here. So let's go back up here. And let's create a new one. So const brackets, we'll call it update form, and set update form is equal to use state. And then we put the default value in here. So we're gonna go title, empty string, and body, empty string. And then we really have an ID too. So let's add underscore ID, and we'll set it equal to null. And we'll store the ID of the note that we're editing here. So we got our state. Let's connect it to our form. So scroll back down. We go value is equal to update form dot title, and then value is equal to update form dot body. So now it's connected to the state up here, and we need to add a change function now. So const handle update field change, and this gets the HTML event. And then the same way we did it above, we get title and name off of e.target, and then we use these to update the state. So set update form, and then we create a duplicate. So we put all the values that's currently set to with ... update form. Whoops. And then we put our updates down here. So we want to change whatever name's equal to. And we want to change it to, what do I call this title? This should be value. We want to change it to value. And then we got to connect this function to our inputs below. So let's copy the name of it, go down here. It's just going to be on change is equal to our function. So let's go back and see if we can type. So it looks like it's working, and now we can access the value of these fields through update form right here. All right, so let's add our update button. So let's go back to our notes, and right next to delete, we'll do update note. And then let's add an on click, and we'll make this equal to a function that we're about to create. We'll call it, I guess, toggle update. So now let's create that function up here. Const toggle update is equal to a function. And then yeah, this function should preload this state with the values of the note we're editing. So the first thing we got to do is get the current note values, and then set state on update form. I think that's it. So how can we get these values? Well, we have no idea which one we're updating, so we're gonna have to receive an ID here. And then let's go back down and pass it into the function. And we do it the same way we did on delete, where it's a function that runs our function, which receives note._ID. So we go back up here, and we're getting our ID right here. So now we gotta find that note in the array. No, we don't, because we can actually just pass in the whole note here. So false alarm, we're going to delete that, put note, and instead of just passing the ID, let's just pass the whole note. So now when someone clicks that, we have access to the entire note. So let's check that out. I don't know why I typed in there. Let's hit update right here, and we have our whole note right there. So let's take these values right here and set it on state. So let's go, so we don't even have to do anything here. We can just go set update form. And we want the title equal to our note.title. Our body equal to our note.body. And our underscore ID equal to note._ID. So now when we click that button, it should preload this form. So let's try it out. It's empty, I hit update, and now we get our values there that we can update. So just to be a little more cleaner, I don't like how we have all these forms on the thing. So we're only gonna show this update form if we're in update mode and we have a note set in this state. So to do that, let's just go down to our update section. And let's just go if update form ._ID exists, render our section right here. So what did I do wrong? Just like that. So now when we go back here, it won't show it, and then we hit update and it shows it because that ID exists at that point. And then let's do the opposite for the create form. So let's go if there's no update form.id, show the create form. There we go. So we get create, and then if we're in update mode, it changes it and we get that other form. So that's cool. So now let's make our update note button here work. So let's go back here and we'll just create a new function. We'll call it update note. And then in here, we're gonna send the update request and then update state. So let's scroll down and connect this function to our update button. So where was it? Update note. And then it says button right here. And this submits the form. So we can go up to form and go on submit is equal to update update note. So now it's going to run our function when someone clicks that. So let's go back up here. And we're going to go to our function that we created. So the request is axios.put this time. And it's localhost 3000 / notes / the ID of the one we're updating. So let's do backticks. And then we actually already have this ID stored right here. So let's grab it from there. So it's update, oops, we gotta do the $ brackets and then update form dot underscore ID. And then the second argument to this is gonna be the title and body. So an object with title and body. So let's get those. Let's extract them off our state. So we want title and body off of update form. And then we're gonna send in an object. Key title is equal to the title right here. And then key body is equal to the variable right there. Save it. So this will send our update request. So let's put await. And then let's assign it to res. And we did await, so we gotta make this async. And then let's just console.log the response. See what happens. We'll go back here, I'll refresh for good measure. I hit update. I give this new value, I hit update. And then it refreshes the page because we didn't prevent default. So let's not forget to do that. So this takes the default HTML event. And we can use that to go e.prevent default. All right, let's go back here. We'll try it again. We'll click update. I'll just add 123, 123, hit update. And we get an error. So 404 is not found. Let's see, I messed up the URL. So let's see what's going on. We'll go network. Cannot put to localhost 3000 / notes. Okay, so I forgot the second slash right there. So let's try that again. Update, 123, 123, update. It sends it. And this time we get a 200 response and we get our updated note right there. So let's take this note and update the state. So to do that, so we have to create a new duplicate of these notes. So let's start with that. We go const new notes is equal to ... notes. And now we want to find the index position of the note that we updated. So to do that, we can go, let's see, const note index is equal to, we'll go notes.find index. And this gets a note. And we want to return the, return where note dot underscore ID is equal to our the one we updated, which is update form.id. So now if these two match, it's going to return that index position. And then let's update it on our new notes right here. So new notes, and then we put the index position. And this is going to be equal to the new value that this returns. So res.data.note. And then let's just set the state at the very end. So set notes is equal to new notes. Let's try that out. Go back here. I go update 456, 456, hit update. And now it updates it up here. So I guess the last thing we should do is just clear this down here. So at the very bottom, let's just put clear update form state. So let's just set update form. And we want ID to be null again. We want title to be an empty string. And we want body to be an empty string. So let's go back. And let's just create another note. And then let's update it. So I'll just make it 123, 123, hit update. And it updates it, clears that form, and shows the create form again. So there we go. We got create, read, update, delete. And this video is already pretty long, so in the next one we'll clean this up and break it into separate components and probably move all the state to a store using a third-party library. But yeah, see you in the next one.